Presented by First Commonwealth Bank. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160. Hey, guess what, boys and girls? A very, very special week around these parts, and that's because it is the week of Flag Day, and we do Flag Day up really big in Indiana County. Bob King is with us from the Elks. They're the ones behind the program coming up on Thursday. He's with Indiana County Sheriff Robert Fyock. Gentlemen, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. John. How are you this morning?
Wonderful. It's good to have you both in the studio with us today. And,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. King, this is going to be another very special week, isn't it?
It is going to be a good week. We're very pleased that we could be at the courthouse again this year. Mm-hmm. Last year was the first time that we had Flag Day ceremonies at the courthouse at the invitation of the county commissioners, and we're looking forward to having it again on Thursday. It'll be at 12 noon in front of the courthouse, and we've got some pretty exciting features in the program this year. As always, we have the notable people in the community participating, of which Bob, our sheriff here, is going to be our speaker for that ceremony. And we're having Mark Burdick, who is the general manager of Renda Broadcasting. He will be doing the history of the flag. Mm-hmm. And another notable person that I think is notable and community-minded is my wife, Kathy, she's an Elk member, and she's going to do the response to Mr. Burdick's history of the flag, and among others, but perhaps I ought to turn over to Bob a little bit to speak here. He's going to be our main speaker, and we appreciate that.
Sheriff Fyock, the Flag Day ceremony is special for a number of reasons. It honors the flag of the United States. It honors the United States as a whole, the men and the women who have made their sacrifices down through the years to preserve our freedoms. It is more than just symbolism, isn't it?
Exactly. It's part of what our founders did over 2 centuries ago, help get this nation up and running, and it's very meaningful. The people should respect it, honor it, but as much as I hate to say, even today's world, a lot of people, I got to watch what I'm saying here, how they present themselves when the flag is being presented. Mm-hmm. But the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that the desecration of the flag is inevitable. You can't go against somebody's rights. Mm-hmm. But as long as somebody is not being immediately injured or put in danger or something, they have the right to do what they want to with the flag.
Is one of the freedoms for which the flag stands.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And if we take that away, I mean, over the years they've tried to petition to have that done, that you can't burn the flag, but you've witnessed it on the news, everything else overseas, people are burning the flags, and even here in this country, people are spitting on it, burning it, but yet they have the right to do it.
The other day was the anniversary of Rick Monday, the outfielder at Dodger Stadium, rescuing the flag as 2 protesters decades ago now, tried to burn it in the outfield at Dodger Stadium. When you speak on Thursday, what's going to be the focus of your presentation?
The main focus is just the flag of what it stands for, and we need to educate our younger generations of what the flag actually represents and what it means to everybody, even though they're not in agreement of how it's presented or where it's brought into play, but yet the people need to be aware of the average citizen. They don't realize being disrespectful, it makes it hard for other people like myself. The veterans, you have to be that, and even in law enforcement, I got to watch I don't overstep my bounds. When I've been there when people stood right in front of me and burning the flag.
Yeah.
It's hard to take.
Sure.
It's hard to take.
I think one of the things that we tend to focus on is the very, very small percentage of people who disrespect the flag, and that comes, Bob King, at the expense of those who respect it and revere it as the symbol of our nation and of our freedoms.
That's correct, yes. I was listening as Bob was speaking there. The Elks organization is the first fraternal organization to make the flag a symbol of our order. And in 1908, when they were holding their summer conference in Dallas, Texas, is when the Order of Elks made Flag Day a reality. And ever since then, each subordinate lodge is required to have a Flag Day ceremony on the 14th of June. And so that's a great honor for us, and for those people who are members of the Elks organization know how revered we honor the flag. And this ceremony that we're going to be doing on Thursday in front of the courthouse is all geared toward this honoring our flag. We have invited veterans from all over the county to be guests of ours. I wrote to all of the Legion posts, the 40 and 8, and those people have all been invited. Mm-hmm. Senator White's office, Dave Reed, Representative Reed will be there. The Civil Air Patrol is going to do our opening and closing ceremonies with presenting the colors, retiring the colors. And we're again honored to have the Indiana Brass Band as part of our ceremony this year again, and we're quite pleased about that, as well as the officers of the ROTC, our law enforcement officers in the borough and IUP, and so we're quite excited about the fact that we've got quite a few citizens from various walks of life going to participate, and we hope that the citizens of our community will show and enjoy this particular ceremony.
Now, it begins at noon, correct?
It is at noon, 12 noon, on the steps of the courthouse. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the weather is supposed to be spectacular that day.
It is supposed to be nice. Yeah. So we had positive thinking, and I think it paid off, at least so far, unless the weatherman changes his mind.
In fact, someone might want to bring along an umbrella for shade rather than for rain on that day.
That's the way it sounds, yes.
The umbrella is pressed into service as a shade rather than a rain, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Sheriff Fyock, of course, you in a long history, a long career in law enforcement, but also in the military, have seen that flag come under fire. And you know, as a military man and as a law enforcement officer, how much it means to those who march under its banner, don't you?
It does. I mean, it's to a point it's very discouraging, but a lot of them understand that overall that's what they have fought for our freedom, and the flag is still a very important part to them. Every veteran's burial, you have the flag brought into the service. Mm-hmm. Folding of the flag or the coffin draped with the flag.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's all part of what we need to have our younger generation being aware of.
Yeah.
Numerous occasions in prior times I've spoke with the Elks. I've always done the ceremony of the 13 folds of the flag at a burial. What each one of those folds mean. And again, it's just something that we have to keep going. We have to let these people know what that stands for.
Absolutely.
And even these people that again, I got to watch what I say, but it's frustrating at times, but they have the right to do that, but yet they don't have to stop and think sometimes how good they have it here in the USA compared to some of these other countries.
Bob King, having taken part in the ceremony last year, I recognize how meaningful it is what Mr. Burdig is going to be doing with the reading of the history of the flag, and to see the actual flags under which the United States has placed itself down through the centuries now is just tremendous. I think, as Sheriff Fyock said, it's a history lesson.
It is a history lesson, and many people don't think of that. You know, we think of our flag with the 50 stars and the 13 stripes of red and white, and we really don't give a thought about what the flag was like 100 years ago or 150 years ago. and that the flag that bound our colonists together at the Battle of Bunker Hill was actually a pine tree flag.
Yeah.
So, and when you gave the presentation last year, as Mr. Burdick is going to do this year, you went through that from Bunker Hill to the present day, and all of the flags, and all of those flags will be here. I might say we've had tremendous cooperation from the community. Our 1 hour cleaning and laundering here in town with the buggies as the owners cleaned all of our flags this year, and they're very nice. They're very clean and bright, and we appreciate that. They were quite generous in their support, so all of those flags will be flying. A little breeze would help unfurl them, and that would be kind of nice. But anyone who attends the ceremony will see all of those flags, and it's quite a pageantry.
I was reading recently of President Eisenhower at the end of his term moving to Gettysburg and selecting a church at which he would attend. And as he walked in, he noted that the flag was the 48-star flag, and during his presidency, 2 states had been added.
That's right.
And they're making it the 50-star flag today. So the flag that still flies in that church today was donated by President Eisenhower at that church. And we had a similar service at the church that I attend when we noted, not even realizing, that we had a 48-star flag until just a couple of years ago when we saw that was the case. And we said, well, we did a ceremony to retire that flag and to bring in a 50-star flag for our country. It's very meaningful for anybody who is a citizen of the United States, and that is it's really a celebration of the American flag.
Right.
And it's coming on Thursday at noon, courthouse steps.
That's correct. Yes, we hope to have a nice crowd there, and we look forward to. As an Elks organization, it's always a pleasure and to work with the community. And it was nice that it was last year that Commissioner Ruddock talked with me. And as he said, Bob, what about the possibility of having a Flag Day ceremony at the courthouse? And I said, well, that sounds like a good idea. We would be able to accommodate many more people. It is at noon because we had planned this around people's lunch hour. People who work particularly downtown or anywhere would be able to perhaps participate and be a part of that. It's a kind of a ceremony that you said, it makes you feel good, makes you realize it's nice to be, and the value of our citizenry as a citizen of this country. That makes you feel good.
Take pride in America. Flag Day ceremony coming up on Thursday at the Indiana County Courthouse steps at noon. Bob, thanks to both of you for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. It is Indiana in the Morning, 101.1 FM and AM 1160.